No, we're live. We are live. I didn't realize Pabs was still connected. All right, we are live. We gotta believe episode. Who gives a shit? It's episode. We are 2 of 3 against the Giants, recording this live Thursday morning before Game 4. Hopefully, we take the series. If we do, your boy Clem's going to come on, and we're going to do some callers celebrating in the streets. If not, fuck that. We don't have nothing to talk about. We split against the Giants, which is much better than anything we did last year, and that's why I am going to be nice and even keel and happy as a Mets fan and chilling, because I know the Mets can actually keep up with the best teams in baseball. But if you need a little help, which as I can see in that Mets community, we have negative Nancy's anytime the Mets fall behind, you got to reach for yourself a Coors Light. It is the beer that is made to chill. You get yourself a Blue Mountain, pop it, drink it, and just relax, because it's baseball season and everything is good. This is what we've been waiting for. This is the beginning of a dynasty. It's the beginning of a new life. The Yankee fans are one that should be complaining, not the Mets fans. So when I need a beer that is made to chill, I reach for a Coors Light, because it is literally the beer that's made to chill. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door with Drizzly or Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/believe. That's CoorsLight.com/believe. Support the podcast, support Coors Light, support your fellow Mets fans. So responsibly, Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. How are you feeling, Kev, Mr. Nashville?
I'm feeling fucking great, man. Let me tell you my experience right now. So full disclosure, I got to watch the walk-off, and then I got to follow along with the night game, Scherzer's game. Yesterday, I caught the very end of it. Went to dinner with a man by the name of Mike Vrabel, no big deal. And I caught like the middle innings of that. So I haven't been able to watch everything like I usually do. But taking those first 2 was like an official like changing of the guard for me. And I know it's so early, and I know not like one series can't prove anything, but as much as I was already riding high, everybody's always had, you're playing the D-backs, you're playing the Nationals, wait and see. And it's hard to take 2 in a doubleheader from fucking anybody, from the Diamondbacks and the Nationals, let alone from the Giants, a team that is just, I mean, I saw you call them that demonic baseball team, Meek. Like they are.
No, they are very demonic. Like, yeah, you can't explain it.
If the Phillies mash me to death, fine. If Aces, just blow us away, fine. But it's none of that in San Francisco. It's just. I said it before. It's similar to what I like about our lineup. It's just good, balanced hitting. And so to be behind and come back and to beat a good team like that in late innings, to hold off a good team when Scherzer gives you the start like that to me was like, okay, well, now what do the haters say? Now what do the Mets, the negative Nancy, say? We're doing it against the Giants. Now, we are recording right now at 11 a.m. right before the final game of the series. We actually debated, should we do this later in the afternoon? Should we do it tomorrow? Because sometimes we say all these things, and then who knows? Today's game could be, catastrophic, or it could be amazing. But them's the breaks. It's very hard to keep up with a 162-game schedule. But let me just tell you something funny. So I was under the impression that both games were 7 innings, the doubleheader day.
Oh.
And so I was texting Pavs being like in the 5th inning, no hit. I was like, well, what are we going to do here? Are we going to celebrate this if it happens? Are we celebrating this like it's a real no-hitter? Do we just like downplay it and be like, yeah, Max doesn't care. It's 7 innings. We don't care. And then and Pavs was like, yeah, no. I was double checking. Because my mom was like, is this game 7 or 9? I was like, it's 7. I was like, right, Pavs? Pavs told me it was. Then all of a sudden they're showing the graphics on the screen where they're showing 7, 8, 9 in the box score. And I was like, wait a minute. That ain't right. And it was, suffice to say, when he got out of the 7th or the 6th or whatever it was, and it was just like the game was continuing, I was like, oh, motherfucker. But that was when I was convinced that the bullpen was going to blow it. And I was like, this is going to be a classic LOL Mets story for me. I thought we were going to go from a no-hitter to we went to a loss, and we like held it off, won those 2 games. And then, like, yeah, listen, yesterday you lost. You can't fucking literally win every goddamn baseball game, especially against the Giants. And one more thing, what I do like, I said this on Twitter, win or lose, which it ended up being a loss. The fact that we just don't roll over and die. 5-0 last year, insurmountable lead. See you later. Pack it up. You might as well just hop the bus home because, don't even waste your time. The fact that we scratched out a couple, and the fact that if it wasn't for a fucking leaping catch from Wilmer Flores, it would have been 5-4. That this team doesn't quit, and even against the best of teams. So if you are still complaining, I didn't really see it much. You're saying that the Twitter community was crying
a little bit. So it's out there now. You said the negative Nancy's out there. You watched the game from Nashville. I was watching it from Chicago, next to the king of the negative Nancy's, Franklin the Tanklin. I was at Chicago HQ, and I was kind of bouncing in between. We had some podcasts we were doing. I was getting stuff done, talking to some of the producers out there and stuff like that. And I missed the Lindor throw to first. And Pete comes off the bag, and Pete's like the edge of his cleat stays on the base long enough, and that's something that goes against us in the past, it feels like, right? And then floodgates open.
I don't think that was the right call.
I don't think it was either.
I think that's a shout out to the fucking cameramen and the guys who operate replay, because that one at first I was like, oh, he's clearly off the bag, like don't even bother. But then that one freeze frame where the ball was, but it wasn't in his glove. His glove was wide the fuck open. It just looked like it was. And when they overturned that, I was like, not only is that a game that we don't win, we definitely don't get the call. Now it's all coming together. But yeah, I think if you're being a reasonable Mets fan, I think we all know that wasn't the right call.
Yeah, and then the fact that it goes into extras, and Frank is like, "Oh, it's extra innings. This is where the Mets always lose." And I'm like, we were actually like not bad in these weird extra innings. Yeah. It was like the Villars would always come, the Ilar brothers would always come through. So again, people are going to complain. Those negative Nancy's are going to complain about shit that might not even be logical. It is what it is. Just like let them do their thing. Our king, Francisco Lindor, wins the game. Fucking is running like halfway across the field the other night to catch a pop out. He's looking great. Like everything is great in my world right now. It's nothing but Blue Mountains and Coors Lights in my world. So don't worry about everyone else. And like you said, Mad Max is fucking here now. Like 10 strikeouts, 1 hit. Woo! And he's a maniac. He's just in that, like in the dugout. And us Mets fans, we, as much as the game, we loved kind of like the little stuff in the background, Gary, Keith, and Ron chatting it up. Just watching Max is like appointment television.
I thought something happened. Like the way he was like pacing back and forth like a caged animal with crazy eyes. I'm like, what did they say to him? Like, is there something going on in the field? Like, no, that's just how he watches the batters play. It's so weird too, because it's like every other pitcher in the world like wants to go sit down in the corner, don't talk to me. And he has so much energy that he's going to not only come out for the 7th, which I didn't think was the right call at the time. I was like, he's gassed. And then he comes out and just throws up another 0. And I'm like, this guy really is alpha. Like DeGrom is a level that we have never seen before, but he doesn't have that alpha mentality. Like this dude's a psychopath. He will strike out 10 and then choke out his catcher for like 1 hit.
Yeah, DeGrom gets it done with the talent, where Max gets it done with talent and like personality, and just like pure intimidation. By the way, we have a Mr. Mad Max shirt coming out. That's
fire.
I'm actually asking if we can launch it right now. So as soon as that's out, I'll let you guys know. Yeah, man, that was like, and I'll be honest, I needed that. Like Scherzer's been fine, but he hasn't been like great yet, and so it was nice to see like, okay, we will be getting ace Max this year, and against a good lineup. It was like, fuck yes, this is it. Oh, and by the way, Francisco Lindor, how good are things going for the Mets right now? Francisco Lindor's 2021 season just got better. Meek, you explain it because
okay. So to dumb it down, Fangraphs changed their algorithm to calculate WAR. They changed it from UZR to using OAA. So Francisco Lindor woke up this morning with 1.5 more WAR last season.
The fact that he had a 4 WAR season in what was like the most putrid baseball we've seen for like 3 months is actually rather impressive.
Yeah, so you can say 2021 Francisco Lindor was a great baseball player in a bad season.
The record books say so. But I will say this. This is my old man, yelling at the cloud type shit. This is kind of why there still needs to be some sort of eye test and gut baseball call. Because if you do go back and look, like there will be someday 20 years from now that people will look at his 2021 season and be like, oh, he had 20 home runs and 4 WAR. It's pretty good. And, we all know the truth.
Yeah, so, I was like, oh, he wasn't like that great. He wasn't Francisco Lindor. This year, it's Francisco Lindor. We're expecting like 7 WAR out of him at this point.
It's like the Luke double that looks like a liner off the wall in the books.
Yeah, exactly.
Entire season.
Right. That's exactly what it is. So that's how good things are flying right now for the Mets. I mean, getting 3 out of 4 here would be enormous. Splitting I'm fine with it, considering last year we lost 5 of 6, I believe, and it was not pretty. So I'll take a split. Would love 3 out of 4, but more importantly, it's just like everybody playing except So explain to me, because again, I wasn't watching, like the managing situation with that steal and everything. Like what the fuck was going on there? Because that I was watching while at dinner, and I'm talking, and I'm like one eye here, one eye there, and next thing I know, the inning is over. Like literally,
I have a theory.
I see Marte standing at on his knees at second, and the inning's over. I was like, what the fuck just happened?
I have a theory. Starling Marte knew that Kyle was doing his walk to the World Series, and he just wanted to make action happen to make the game go faster. So that's my theory.
I was ranting about it too. I was like, that's a situation where that's the only time you actually miss Buck during that game, because Starling Marte clearly has the green light, gets to do whatever he wants to do, and you got these 2 interim managers that have no idea what they're doing on the bench, and they don't forget to tell him, like, hey, the green light's off. Don't run into the final out when we finally have a rally going.
Oh God, it's so weird that Marte would even do that. Like,
no.
That was biased. There's aggressive and look,
maybe there's some other world where that throw goes into center field and we get 2 more runs that inning or something. Yeah. But we weren't living in that world last night.
Be like stolen base standing up, basically.
Yeah.
You have to make sure.
You know who you got to be. There's only one guy on that roster that can do that. And that's my man Janko. Anybody else? Only one guy who can steal second in that situation. That was a bad call. And that's where, again, so it's nice to see Ace Max. It's nice to see where Buck, like, his value really is there. It's concerning that without him, we are apparently fucking morons. But that was unfortunate, because like those are the sort of innings that we have been coming through on. So like, who knows how that game shapes up if we don't run ourselves out of that inning there.
Yeah, and like that, the thing is, like Marte, I'm at the point with him where I'm like, that was a fuck up, but I'm gonna always forgive him. And again, I do think it's never good to have your manager you have to go back to in the dugout. It's never good to have to go back to the dugout and look the guy in the eye that has the experience of Buck. But to just have a guy being like, if I fuck this up, Buck is gonna be pissed at me.
Yes,
that is like the X factor. Again, the name Buck Showalter carries fucking weight in this world. But however, it's better than the right fielder that used to be here, because let's all remember we're in the Marte world now. The curious case of Michael Conforto, as you put it, Kev.
Dude.
What a fucking turn of events. I think someone tweeted this as a joke like 2 weeks ago, like Conforto's getting calls from the Long Island Ducks. And as it comes out, report comes out yesterday that the Long Island Ducks are actually like, can you imagine being Scott Boras? He probably saw the fucking caller ID from the Long Island Ducks. He's like, I don't answer those phone calls. That's a tough look for Boras Corp.
I mean, I almost feel like when you get an offer from the Long Island Ducks, it's almost like when Vivid Pictures asks you to do a porn.
Yes.
And they offer you like a $1 million or $100,000 porn contract. And it's not a real offer. It's just to get in the headlines. But, there have been guys, the Jose Cansecos of the world who do end up playing there. I said it in my 1 Minute Mets video, like something much bigger is going on here. And I don't know whether GMs and fellow players and everyone else in baseball is doing Conforto a solid by keeping their lips sealed on this one or what. But like, we heard that rumor about the bachelor party. What if it's something like he destroyed his arm or something in a wild act, like mangled it, where it's like you may never even be able to
fell on a wood chipper.
Yeah, right. Where it's like,
oh God, Phil.
Forget about baseball. Like it's something more just like we hope that you're okay, like in life at this point, because it just doesn't make sense that somebody would offer him like $1 million, just a minimum contract, and he would take it just to continue playing baseball. It makes no sense. So I think it's either like a horrible injury, and I hope
anal fissures.
He wishes.
I hope it's something that he's not like in too much pain or injury, or it's like a mental thing where he's like between the ears, he's just all sorts of fucked up, or work. Like I don't know if there's like a criminal case or something that happened in his life. Like all of it, anything I can think of that would lead to this scenario seems very, very, very bad for me. And I know that we hate Boras and we were negotiating against them in a way. And I know people are kind of clowning Boras for he's the king of Queens and the ace of the GM's eyes and all that shit. but I don't take any like joy in this. Like I feel so bad for that guy. Going from $100 million to nothing and not even playing, that ain't cool. I actually at this point would be okay with like if he did come back to the Mets just to like keep the guy's life on track because I want it to become something worse.
I tweeted out the Photoshop picture of him and people were pissed in the comments. And I'm like, listen, first of all, the Island Ducks, like that's a quadruple A team because all of those guys are guys who like fell out of the pros and they go there for half a season. They do a half season championship. And then when the championship's over, they all get picked up by major league teams and they come right back. So it's like
Rich Hill did that, right?
Yeah. It would be like embarrassing for him to do for sure. But I'm also imagining like straight out of The Hangover, he's getting the call to Boris like, hey, I fucked up. And like, that's the end. And then like roll credits. So like if he can in any capacity, maybe he just has to prove it. But it's also like they don't want to lose the first round draft.
Yeah.
I think that plays a factor at this point.
Definitely. I think that definitely plays a factor. And they're like, Mike, you rest up, take it easy. Right. No one's going to need an outfielder until that time. And then we end up getting fucked out of the draft pick, which again, let's be honest, Wilpons era Mets, they signed him to that $100 million contract. Whatever happens.
Will happens.
Well, you think they give him $100 million like, in the Wilpons era? Like,
fair point. Okay. Fair point, Phil.
Okay, what I think would happen is I think he fucked up his shoulder, like whatever, bachelor part, whatever, and he needs surgery, and he has to be a DH this year, and that's what's driving teams off. That's just my like reasonable, like what could possibly happen, like outside of anything else. Like
I hear what you're saying, but like now, especially now that everybody has the DH, you're telling me that there's not some dog shit Diamondback, like they do the Diamondbacks lineup.
Teams want to cry poor. I can't do anything about that.
Yeah, no, I mean, you are, there's the draft picks, there's the money, but like, in a league where everyone can DH and in a league where we've seen some absolutely atrocious teams.
He's 29 years old. It's not like he's like past his prime. Like this is his sweet spot. This was supposed to be like the big contract. And like some team isn't going to take a flyer on him for like just a 1-year deal. He put himself over by not taking the qualifying offer with us, like plain and simple.
Like that shoulder injury may have had to been like season ending or something to where like it's just not even real.
It pops out like that. That could literally happen doing anything.
Yeah.
Breaking news in the podcast right here. The Max Scherzer shirt has gone live. Get them
while they're hot, baby. This shit is fire. Mr. Max, we're gonna call it Mr. Max. This is the Mr. Max. Mr. Max with, if you zoom in close, you can see the two different eye colors that Scherzer has. It is not since this Mr. Met design with the middle finger up have I seen a Mr. Met shirt this dope. So scoop these up. We are pumping out heat with the We Gotta Believe merch right now.
I have another one in right now. It's Gary talks stats, Ron talks pitching, Keith talks Keith. Do you remember that old slogan?
That's a great one. That's going to be a great one. Gary talks stats, Ron talks pitching, Keith talks Keith. Gonna love that one for sure. I saw did you see the Mets meme, the porn meme that I put on the timeline?
I did not see it.
I said new shirt. It was where is it? It's like another Riley Reid one, but it's even more absurd. And where'd it go? I tweeted it out and just said new shirt. Let me find it. But the polar bear shirts sold out. We restocked them. We also put it onto a tan colored hoodie as well. That is just a piece of like fucking fashion at this point. That to me is just a like, you don't even have to be a Mets fan to wear that one. But everybody, I've been getting a couple DMs from people being like, I am going bankrupt with all this, all the We Gotta Believe shirts coming out. The 128, where the fuck did this go? It was like the Riley Reid one times a billion. It was so over the top.
Kev, I was actually thinking, someone goes, we need a New York Giants one. And I'm like, do we just make a whole entire line of the porn shirts? And I was like, oh my God, that's giant or something like that. And just change a word or so. So I was going down. I'll tell you, there's a lot of weird shit that happens with this job. Going down the porn meme world on my laptop, like in the airport, was something I didn't expect doing in Chicago.
Collab with Glenny on his OnlyStans thing.
At what point?
Cooler, they have the other Riley Reid meme where it says fuck yeah, spread it, and I'm like, why wouldn't they have used that for spread the news?
Oh my God.
Barstool Sportsbook, that could work too. Spreads, we're talking, I mean, that kind of works. I don't think Penn might sign off on that. unfortunately. So we got some fire shit. We got, like I said, we have a Lindor one coming out. That's a little more basic. A little throwback to another shirt. And
by the way, the Lindor glasses
shades.
with the blue hair is still on sale, which we put it on sale when we got him initially. And I think that would have been like a monster seller, but he obviously had a shitty year. And so it's almost like we need like a re-releasing of that because now is the year to like get your Lindor shirts because everybody jump on board. You're looking at a fucking MVP candidate. So get your shirts now. But either way, we got a lot going on in the We Gotta Believe merch department and community and all that. So today is kind of like, unless something catastrophic happens or something like unbelievable happens, I feel like 3 out of 4 is amazing. But split is like almost just as good for me. I feel like it's like we kind of did what we needed to do here. So hopefully I kind of want an uneventful afternoon because like, let's just stay the course here.
You know what? The thing is, I want a clean baseball game. No mess, just a good, clean baseball game.
Absolutely.
Today's the real cookie test.
Yep.
Also,
today is the real cookie test, and not the cookie test of buying the entire rack from someone, which Kevin was like, oh, Eddie agreed with me. Well, me, White Sox Dave, and Stephen Shea all blatantly.
No. Listen, I've actually really been thinking this through. It's fucking insane that I'm supposed to care about the stranger behind me more than the person at home that I'm buying the cookies for. Why the fuck does that guy matter? There's 8 cookies left. There's 100 people online. Almost everybody on that line is walking home without cookies. And now I'm going to fuck up my order. And I have a pregnant woman at home who's going to be like, where are the rest of the fucking cookies? Also, some stranger behind me goes home with a couple. Why the fuck would I worry about him? He's not worried about me. How come the guy behind me doesn't say, you know what? You take all of them because I want you to be happy. Why do I have to worry about him?
Take what you need, not what you want. This is what I think. Hey,
Yeah, that's what I need. I needed 8 cookies, bro.
That's what got it. I mean, hey, if we all just did what we wanted, maybe we wouldn't have Brandon Nimmo available yesterday. That's all I'm gonna say. I think this kind of group mentality, protect your neighbor and the neighbor beside you, their parents, whatever it may be. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say on the matter with that one. With Cookie, but Cookie Carrasco needs to be Cookie today. You're gonna have to stay in. The Giants are gonna keep it close. The Giants' fucking bullpen is such a pain in the ass too. It's such a pain in the ass.
Who is their GM? They've assembled the greatest no-name team of all time.
Their GM used to work in the Dodgers organization, so that's probably why you think he's a genius because he is. It's Farhan Zaidi. I can't pronounce his name if I butchered it, but yeah.
Everybody is just pretty good and not a superstar. And what's the highest contract on their payroll?
Maybe I'd have to look. Brendan Crawford got a decent extension, but he's not even making that much either.
It's crazy.
And that's why they're good.
Yeah.
If they need to make a move when they need to make a move too, there's money that still needs to be spent. The fact that they have to go up against the Dodgers though,
that sucks, dude.
Oh.
Rodon, Belt, Crawford are their top 3 according to Sports.
And Rodon ranked the paycheck yesterday because we could not touch him. Yeah. Lefties are so weird too.
Yeah.
I said it last. I'm annoyed at the White Sox for not giving Rodon the qualifying offer now. I know it's the Sons of a rebate, but now I'm pissed at the White Sox for that game last night. That loss is on them.
Rebate. Fuck the White Sox, man.
We also have to. We'll save the Mary Fuck Kill because I think that's gonna be a good one. That can work anytime. We'll save that one for after today. First of all, we have to get an update. So Kyle, World Series walk last night, obviously running for rallies, which I signed on when you were running for the rally, and you were fucking dripping. You couldn't hear what was going on, and it almost worked. I think it was good when we had more people. We were getting runs, and then people started logging off. So everyone needs to fucking get on this.
Yeah, that's not that. We had people were scoring runs, and it dropped down to 30, and all of a sudden we're not scoring any runs. Honestly, the run itself is fine. It's holding the phone, and it's shaking.
Wow, you're right, man.
I got scapula going on. I'm
you need a little GoPro.
Yeah, can't you got to get a little setup or something. Get a ring light. Come on.
Yeah, I got the ring light in here. I don't know if I'm bringing that into the gym. It's so weird that nobody's at that gym. I guess it's just an older building, so there's nobody that goes and works out. It's perfect for me, but I'm screaming at 10:30 at night.
Oh my
God! I'm supposed to let it out to Wilpons when we should be tying the game.
I can only imagine just walking into a gym and just seeing a crazy person on a treadmill screaming at the TV.
What are you thinking, Clem? Clem was had some sort of epiphany. What?
Whole time I was like, when you were running, I'm trying to look and I'm like, is this like his is this his place? Is it a basement?
No.
And I love this a million times more now. It's like when I would do my laps around the house, which granted I only have a few neighbors, but they're like, look at the fucking asshole doing his thing. This is even better version of it. And even if they're not going in, they can still hear this guy yelling at the top of his. You're basically like the positive Frank the Tank when he would just scream at the top of his lungs. Except you're getting healthier, you're running, it's all that good shit. I love it. I cannot be more in. I was already in on the walk to the World Series.
It just goes to show how long that first game was, though, because I ran way longer yesterday. So I was like, oh, it's probably like similar mileage. No, it's like a whole mile off.
They say how throwing a baseball is in a natural motion, and that's why so like the injuries happen. Holding a phone as you're running as fast as you can is definitely not enough, and that's why Kyle has like scapula. Plus, he has blisters on his feet. So shout out Kyle for doing that. And we have to touch on this. Luis Guillorme shaving the beard, like an all-time wild move. When the juju's been good to start the season.
Whoa. What? First of all, what is he thinking from a juju point of view? Second of all, what is he thinking from a face point of view? Turning yourself into old Trevor May head ass, looking like fucking Buzz Lightyear out there, man. He looks like Shane Gillis. I was watching the game with Shane Gillis, and he goes, damn, Luis Guillorme is a handsome looking dude. And I kind of like paused. And I was like, what do you mean? And I looked at him and I was like, you look like Shane Gillis now, dude. You went from a Gus Fring henchman in Breaking Bad, like a drug cartel runner, to this, like, especially the picture was like, hi, guys.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are you doing, Luis? Who approved that? Why would you do that, man?
The only thing I like about it is that he does look like Buzz Lightyear, so I kind of like having like Luis Lightyear as our guy.
We can have memes and all sorts of shit. Yeah.
But he's an absolute wizard. Are you guys all Luis guys? I feel like we're all Luis because he's great with the glove. And when he put down that bunt the other day, I was like, there's no person I feel more comfortable with putting down a bunt than Luis Guillorme and knowing where the strike zone is.
There's no person I feel comfortable, like, period, with putting down a bunt. You know what I mean? Like, no, like, I mean, we got a few professional hitters. I shouldn't say that. But, like, you know, some of these guys now, I mean, I saw the Yankee fans imploding the other day because, like, nobody on the team could lay down a bunt to move runners over, and they can't play situational baseball. So having guys like Luis Guillorme are fucking – you know, speaking of the crosstown guys, how have they been? I haven't really been paying attention while I've been in Nashville.
Well, Garrett Cole
he pitched a gem the other night, right?
He actually got booed off the field on the road. Yankee fans went to
runs.
Detroit to boo him.
He only gave up 200 runs. They didn't give up 2/3, but
I'm not sure if anyone's seen this story. So there was a fake account that made a story. It's like, oh, Garrett Cole would donate 600 MacBooks to underprivileged schools if he went 2 innings. He got knocked out in an inning and 2/3. That was a fake tweet that the Angels broadcast picked up and thought it was real.
Of course it's a fake tweet. In what world would Garrett Cole make an agreement like that? And in what world would the agreement be to go 2 innings? So fucking fake. And that the best part, that was straight out of like Brockmire, the way that guy was like, so, news out of New York, there was a report, like doing the Brockmire voice and everything, just sounded like a fucking moron. But wait, I saw that. Obviously I saw it. I was trolling Yankee fans being like, Max is on the mound. So is Garrett Cole. I'm sure they're matching zeros. I can't wait to watch them pitch both deep into the night. Let me know what's going on. But when I saw that he got knocked out in 1 2/3, I expected that he gave up like a Marcus Stroman type of line. But was he hurt? Was he just
I saw 5 walks on the stat line.
6 walks.
Okay, so he was just walking the ballpark. And yeah, shout out to Marcus Stroman. Positive vibes only at this point. Just like 7 runs every outing. Cool.
Shout out to Jerry's Familia doing his thing in Philly.
Yeah, thank God. Yeah, man. I mean, there's a lot of enemies out there in Mets life that I don't really view Familia as an enemy, to be honest. But I mean, you go to a division rival, it's still.
If you wear a Phillies jersey, I view you as an enemy. So
yeah, exactly. But yeah, man. I mean,
Yankees are in first too, and it feels like they're in first, like we were in first last year. They're just the other shoe to drop, and they're like, their division's way too good for that to sustain with the way they're doing. This is where it's a double-edged sword for me in baseball, because I'm watching the Mets in first place, being like, I'll tell you what, I know it's early, but there's a lot of indicators that this is going to last. And then I see the Yankees in first place. I'm like, it doesn't count. That's not because like baseball's silly. It takes a little while for it to shake out. They'll be in 4th place in like a month.
But I do kind of believe that actually. But it is funny, like you can spin this however you want. Baseball's so fucking long. But I will say, as much as I crush Garrett Cole, I think Yankee fans crush him even more.
Mm-hmm.
And while I do understand why, I also think to myself, he is the best you've got. And he does go out there occasionally and pitch like a fucking gem like he should. But all that being said, even if he does pitch occasionally like an ace, when you look at that contract through 2028 of 36 a year, like it's impossible for anyone to live up to that money, let alone a guy who's in the bed like every other week, every other start. It's fucking.
There was a Yankee fan that went at Tommy. It's like, it's the game started late. There's a cold weather. Give him a break. And Tommy was like, he's making $324 million. This is too much to ask to pitch more than 2 innings.
Honestly, that 4 minute shit and the weather stuff and the delays and any of the excuses, it's like, listen, at the end of the day, it's spider tack, man. Like he had his thing. He lost it. He had a year where he was like trying to keep it together. And now I think he realizes he's fucked without it. So I don't even know if it's necessarily the actual substance, but I feel like it's a mental thing. It's whatever it is. It all dates back like exactly to that fucking moment.
Yankees going into WFAN saying that the league needs to change the rules to allow them to have a better grip on the ball. They're like, well, look at all the players getting hit around the league. Like, they have no idea where it's going. They need not spider tack necessarily, but they definitely need to have more of a grip on the ball. I'm like, you need to get a grip on your fandom if now that your piece is fucking.
Yo, suck my dick with that talk. Like, it's dangerous because then you know what? Then your pitcher's not that good.
An hour off and locate. Like, that's what you're supposed to do.
Then your pitcher is not that fucking good. If he can't throw hard and not hit a batter, then you're not actually an ace, bro. I don't know what to fucking tell you. That's crazy talk.
Yeah. The craziest thing about all this, or not even craziest, but just one of the best things about this, to be honest with you, is that Garrett Cole has just become like Twitter's least favorite player now.
Yep.
Like all the Astros have just been pushed to the side, and they're like, fuck that guy. That guy cheated. He's a Yankee, and he stinks now. And like you said, most Yankee fans have kind of just like gone away with him. And listen, as a person, I love Hubs. You make a video like that after your team signs Garrett Cole, like you have all your eggs in his basket now, and that is going to come out once every 5 days if he can't put the ball on the plate.
Garrett Cole! Listen, it's the perfect storm. He was a cheater, right? Like everyone hated him already. He becomes a Yankee. Everybody fucking hates that. Shaves the beard and becomes Kermit the Frog. Like when we see his face, we hear his voice. That's 4 things. He's named Garrett. He says things like, for Pete's sake.
Yeah.
He blames 4-minute delays. He's making $324 million. And he's like a cake eater. You know, he's like a fucking, he's not like a grimy, gritty baseball player. All the 9, 10 things add up to be like, we fucking hate you. And it's funny too that like I said, it was the biggest. I think, did you say it, Meek, or somebody on Mets Twitter said it was the biggest personality reveal ever when he shaved his beard?
No, it's not me who said it, but someone here may have said it. I don't know.
And I feel like I had people from Houston in my comments being like, we kind of knew that about him. He was just like fucking nasty, but we knew he wasn't like cool guy, guy's guy type of dude. But it just goes to show that, Houston is no like tiny market. They won a fucking World Series. They were under the microscope and everything, but people still just don't pay attention as much as they do in a place like this. And once everybody found out, oh my God.
The biggest moment for me was finding out that he had like a Ryan Leaf moment with Brett Gardner when Brett Gardner was giving him a hard time last year about it, joking about it, locker room talk, like just being like a guy's guy. And like, he couldn't even handle that and lost his shit. It's like, okay, there's something wrong with you. You can't handle the pressure.
Yep. And I love every fucking second.
And we'll wrap with this now that we'll get off of the fraud pitchers. The one pitcher, the true king of New York, the true king of baseball, has his MRI on Monday. So I don't know if our episode will go live before or afterwards, with the results probably after. I mean, Jacob deGrom in the MRI. That's basically where he lives now at this point. Can you build a house out of an MRI? You just live in it, and we can just see how it's doing every morning.
He needs like a thing around his arm that's just constantly scanning him. He just walks around with that thing just always scanning. I'm not even like, I wish I didn't even know that. I'm not putting any hopes into this MRI. So, I'm only expecting bad things. And
Kev, no.
Prepare for the worst.
I'm not listening.
Prepare for the worst. I'm hoping best case scenario is like He's still injured and needs more time. There's no way it's going to be like he's ahead of the schedule.
Buck almost let it slip the other day.
What
he's like, I'm not going to say what I want to say, but let's just say he's on schedule with everything we thought was going to be the case.
Yeah, like Buck already let it slip when he said you're going to get the acquisition of DeGrom at the deadline. We know that the timeline is way, way longer than these 4 weeks.
And that's kind of what I was going to say. I was going to say, what are you guys hoping for or expecting on Monday? And I think we're all expecting like no news, and no news is not good news. It's just not bad news. That's all I want. That's kind of what I'm expecting.
Honestly, don't you think it does him a disservice to like, don't you think it would be better to be like, he's out until at least August. And then if he comes back in July, it's because right now we are savvy. We get it. We know what's going on. We can read through those Buck quotes. We heard some inside info and shit. A lot of dumb people out there don't, and they're thinking like, maybe we'll have Jacob DeGrom back on Tuesday, and and then when you don't get him, you're let down. I if it was me, I'd rather, I don't know, maybe you do it for competitive reasons and other lineups and maybe there's reasons I don't know of where you would keep that quiet. But to me, I think it's better to just be real about it so people and fans don't get their hopes up because it ain't coming anytime soon.
Yeah, I wonder what the reasoning with all of it is in terms of like medical stuff too. I wonder if it's like the medical side of it could be like, no, he could, so we're just gonna leave it like that. I think anyone with a brain, like no one's like, oh man, I hope Jake's pitching on Barstool Ballpark April 30th. Like I hope nobody's like thinking there's a chance for that, right? So obviously not. And again, you said with Garrett Cole, his like personality reveal moment was shaving the beard. DeGrom, looking back now, like when I first saw DeGrom with the flowing locks, I'm like, oh, he's kind of a fun guy. He's like a Cali dude. I didn't really know much about his background. And it's like, nope, straight down to business. He is his haircut. He is fucking nothing but business. Yeah. So, and that's when he became fucking good. He cut the hair and he's the what's the dude? Samson is the guy with the haircut. Like he's like the anti-Samson. It's fucking crazy. So we got the Giants today.
Speaking of Barstool, the ballpark, tickets still available for April 30th. It's going to be, I think all of us are coming out. The whole We Gotta Believe crowd's going to be there. Feidelberg's coming. I'm bringing a couple Philly scumbags with me. We got Chris O'Connor and Tommy Pope and Ian Fidance, some very funny Philly comedians. So it's going to be a star-studded edition where everybody's going to come and hang out. We'll take pictures. We'll drink beers. We'll shoot the shit. Watch the Phillies lose to the Mets again. And so get your tickets to the April 30th. I want to, like, when we did this in 2015, we sold out like every fucking second. And obviously the last few years have been a different story. So I'm trying to rebuild that and get people to realize how much fun it is when we are good and when we are selling out. So please, if you're looking to go out to the park, make it one of our events. And if you want to have a bachelor party there, if you want to get together with your buddies for a birthday or any reason, it's like a great spot and a great deal to do all of that. So tickets are still available for April 30th. We put the link out there, so go get those tickets because it's going to be it'll be a fun one against Philly. And for the people that have never been or don't really know it because they picked up on the show recently, it's like $90 to $100 depending on the game. This one's $90.
Yeah, and it's ticket to the game. We're in like the left field zone, like I think the second level of the left field. It's I think $18 voucher now, I think, where you can just spend on any kind of food you want.
It's basically like one free meal, but I think it equates to $18.
Yeah. And then you have all you can drink beer for either 3 hours or to the 7th, whatever comes first. And so it starts like an hour before the game. So you get in and you want to get a nice little base for the rest of the night on a Saturday night.
Early, start drinking some beers, hang out, take some pictures, watch some batting practice, see the ballpark, watch the game, drink till the alcohol cut off. It's fucking incredible. It's a baseball fan's dream. And
you're surrounded by like-minded Mets fans because I do think like whether you're a positive Mets fan, you screw on the negative side, whatever it is, I think we're all pretty much in. If you're listening to the podcast, we're all kind of on the same page, or you're following Barstool. So it's a great time. I'm sure Tank will be there. Tank just takes over the scene every fucking time. He just comes in.
He walks around slowly, just like sauntering through the ballpark, and people are just like, Tank, taking pictures. You're at the aquarium. It's amazing.
I have my thought that Frank is probably the most recognizable personality of Barstool, like out of the crowd.
I mean, he's larger than life. He's like, there's only one Tank.
Yeah.
Everyone else, the rest of us are just normal white guys. Tank is like trying to work.
I just envisioned a scenario where like Portnoy and Tank are walking down the street and someone goes, "Hey, Dave, can you get a picture of me with Tank?" And just gives him the camera phone. That would be the end of like Barstool's. Dave would just call it a day. But it's a great time. And Tank, this is the thing. Tank has been eating good on all of our tiers. He's been drinking off all of our tiers because we've been like kind of hit or miss the last few years. If we're fucking good, Tank has nowhere to hide at the.
It's already over.
Quiet as a church mouse every time they're good now.
Dude,
like, hey Frank, where's your prediction of the implosion? Nope, nothing to do.
Oh, the Giants are gonna sweep us. Last place.
Scherzer goes out there 7 innings, 10 strikeouts. You know how many tweets Frank sent during that outing? 0.
Yep.
Fucking 0, man. Fraud.
He's a fraud. He's a fraud. Feeble tweets.
He switched to the Nets. He instantly just started complaining about the Nets instead. I'm like, oh, come on.
He's an artist. He's an artist at worst. He was even talking shit about Kev's Jankowski, and I took a picture of him, as you could see, like Jankowski striking out, and I was like, there it is. But you know what? They won that game. They swept the Giants during the day. If they win today, we'll try to figure out something where maybe we could have some people. I know Kev has some stuff going on, Kyle. You know, everyone's got actual work shit going on. But I'll try to get on. Maybe we'll get some like post-game happy phone calls if we get the win, because I'm sure we'll be on cloud 9 taking 3 out of 4 against the Giants, especially after what happened in the gauntlet last year that we do not speak of anymore. And then we got the fucking D-backs, boys. We get a bunch of fucking quadruple layers back in our lives. We better feast on them.
So, one quick story before we go. So I'm in this Airbnb here in Nashville, right? And so I was sitting right there. The TV's on the wall. So I'm sitting there. Pabs is standing over there. The Alonso call gets overturned, and me and Pabs like run and jump and hug each other like a pitcher and catcher when they pitch a no hitter. And Shane Gillis was here, and so we're talking shit about the Phillies and all that shit. And we like celebrate like we won the World Series for that. Then we actually win the game. Celebrate again. And Shane was like, dude, it's like game 7. And I was like of the season, not of like the world. He's like, it's a game, number 10 of the year. And I was like, it's a sickness, man. It's an absolute illness that we are this jacked up that if they win today against the Giants, we need to open up the phone lines to get everyone to call in because we'll be on cloud 9. It's still so goddamn early. It's fucking hilarious. But wouldn't have it any other way, baby.
Gotta believe.